Welcome to the Full Nelson. Today I'm going to be talking about the Holosun EPS MRS. It's relatively new to the market. It's been out for a few months now. And then I have a Holosun 509T here on this Glock 34. On paper, the Holosun 509T should be the more durable of the two, where it's has a titanium housing. But I'm here to tell you that if you are trying to choose between these two, the X2 509T, which is probably all that's available now, I've got the X1 version, or the EPS MRS, I would highly recommend the EPS MRS. The optical quality is far superior. You will really notice when you start shooting 25 yards and beyond. This is perfectly clear, no fisheye effect at all. No blurriness, none of that, whereas this one, at least the Generation 1, and I've looked at one of the Generation 2 or the X2 version of the 509T, both have pretty poor optical quality. I shouldn't say pretty poor, it's quite terrible in my opinion. And at the price point that these are selling at and what they have sold at, there's just no excuse for it in my opinion. But the EPS MRS is great optical quality. As far as features, battery life, and the solar features and all that kind of stuff on these, very similar reticle options. You can do a dot only or a circle with a dot. And I'm not sure if you can do the circle without the dot. I know on the EPS MRS you can do the circle without the dot, dot only, or the circle with the dot. I think what you'll find, at least what I have found as I've used these, is the circle with the dot, I think, would be a good option for a carry gun, where if you need to draw the gun and find the dot very quickly, it's going to be easier to find because of the size of it, and you don't need really precise aiming at close range. That's where the circle and dot option are going to be pretty awesome. But I personally generally find that once you get used to using a red dot, I prefer just the plain dot, a nice fine dot. Once you get used to the presentation, everything, it's easier to be precise. And once you get good at presenting the firearm, you're not going to have any trouble finding just the dot by itself. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. Do I recommend the Holosun EPS MRS? Yes, I do. I think it's a great optic. The Holosun X2 I no longer recommend because I think this has completely replaced it and is better in pretty much every measurable way. Holosun overall as a company, my experience with their customer service has not been good, pretty slow to respond a lot of the time, and I've had some issues like with these that I was completely dissatisfied with them from the day that I got them, and I've talked to them about it, and they could care less. Anyway, so yeah, that's my 2 cents about that. If you guys have any questions or comments of your own about these red dots or any others like them that would be a good option, or about Holosun as a company and what your experience has been like, feel free to leave those in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.